Shadow Justice Secretary Steve Reed has said that a Labour government would allow victims of antisocial behaviour to choose how offenders are punished. This will be an update on Tony Blair's tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime slogan and put prevention at the heart of their approach. I am joined now by two Labour stalwarts, former Labour Advisor and writer Scarlett MccGwire and former editor of LabourList is Peter Edwards. I am massively outnumbered here. This is a stitch-up of epic proportions. Peter, I will start with you, my good man. What do you make of this? Do you think this is good justice, the idea that the Labour Party now might let me decide exactly how the chap who graffitied my car is, what kind of manual labour he's been made to do?
Yeah, I think it's about giving victims a voice in the justice system. And apart from conviction rates, especially on sexual offences, the idea that with fewer police numbers, victims don't get heard and their crimes don't get the attention and scrutiny they deserve is one of the worries about 10 years of austerity. So trying to put victims at the heart of community-led punishments is entirely sensible. Of course, there'll be one or two practical limitations on it, but it shows Labour is kind of once again responding to public opinion on this kind of core issue.
Scarlett, I think it was just yesterday, actually, the Labour Party accused the Tories of going after gimmicky politics. Is this just a gimmick?
I don't think there's anything gimmicky about this. I think antisocial behaviour is one of the most prevalent crimes there is. There are 2 million instances of antisocial behaviour that are not even followed up. That is what most people see most of the time. I mean, you know, there are very few burglaries. There aren't even that many muggings, even though we hear a lot about it. Very, very few murders, but actually antisocial behaviour is everywhere. And what we've got to do is we've got to stop it. And what they're doing is it's a very Tony Blair approach. They're saying we're going to be tough on it. We're going to do something about it. But actually, what we want to do is we want to stop it, and we want to stop the people who are doing it. And they come from the community. So let's let the community say what they should be doing.
I get that, Scarlett. I will come back to you, Peter. I'll throw it your way now. Labour obviously want to be branded now as the party that's good and strong on law and order. With absolute respect, as annoying as a neighbour who plays really loud music through my window might be, I probably would care more about the unrelenting stabathon on the streets of London or the West Midlands or Manchester or Liverpool. And on that, when it comes to some Labour Party views on things like stop and search, I don't see how you can be bracketed as the party that's tough on law and order.
Well, I think you threw in a lot there. I wouldn't say there's an unrelenting stabathon in London. I wouldn't use those words at all. But clearly there's a concern over violent crime in London. I wouldn't doubt that for a moment. Where we are, antisocial behaviour, I think it's a lot more than loud music. You know, it might be the single parent who's terrified by a gang of yobs. It might be the shopkeeper that's having racist abuse or worse hurled at him in the street, and so on and so on. So, you know, so I think we've got to be clear about antisocial behaviour. It's not a one-off for something that's annoying. It can make lives misery. And while I think this is, in a sense, admirably devoid of party politics, it's clear that antisocial behaviour, what used to be called perhaps wrongly low-level crime, is at the core of the concerns of non-aligned voters, just like welfare and immigration, because it's the absolute antithesis of the Westminster bubble. It's lives being wrecked by bad behaviour.
Yeah, and the grassroots stuff, I think, is important when people feel like that's been lost and everything else has maybe been lost as well. Scarlett, I'll just kind of ask a similar question to you, which is this broader picture about Labour being tough on law and order. I can't help but feel as though when you see the leader of the Labour Party do things like taking the knee, it's not a great look. I find those two things quite hard to marry up. Well,
I think being against racism is not being against law and order, and that's what he was doing. He was making... Patrick, he was making a stand saying absolutely where the Labour Party stands on racism, right? But I do think, I mean, law and order is incredibly important, and it always has been to the Labour Party. And you know, it was Tony Blair who fashioned the thing, you know, tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime. And actually, that's been a mantra of the Labour Party. For nearly 30 years now. It is really important, but we have to move on. We have to understand what's going on. And actually, as I keep saying, for most people, what is called antisocial behaviour or low-level crime is what absolutely dogs their lives. It isn't terribly tragic, but not happens a lot. knifing, right? It is antisocial behaviour, and people's lives are made an absolute misery through it.